This is the Sahali breezeway coming off McGill, leading up to the back parking lot of the Sahali Mall. We're just going to do a little walk through one of Sahali's breezeways, a defining feature of the Sahali community. This one last year I got a little bit of publicity going because I dubbed it on Twitter the Alley of Doom. Not that it looks very doomy and gloomy today, but at night it's pitch black, and some people just refuse to walk through it at night because, well, at the time it was sometimes populated by unsavory characters, and sometimes you just didn't know what you would encounter when you walked through this little breezeway at night. So the city responded to my concerns. At least they kind of met me halfway, and so we're going to do a little walkthrough, and I'll talk about some of my thoughts about this breezeway. As you can see, the breezeway is not actually that wide. It's fine if you're just one person or two people going the same direction. If it's dusk and it's nighttime and you're coming this way and there's another party, it can be a little awkward. And so when I walk through here at night, sometimes I'll actually say kind of, I come in peace, or make some kind of, some kind of comment so that people know I'm coming or who they're about to interact with. So it's not that wide. It's a utility space between two properties, but this is the point where it gets pitch black if we were here at night. And this is the point where I had hoped that we could possibly get a light here, because the breezeway is not lit, but for a light at the top of the steps, which is actually intended to shine light on the parking lot, not to illuminate the breezeway at all. So now last year, when I first brought some concerns to the city, this was completely graffitied, and the city came in and painted it all. You can see the paint there's been very little graffiti done since that, so that's positive. But still hoping on a light here. Let's walk up the steps. Another point of interest here, call it a point of interest, is where you can see the concrete is showing its age. I'm not an expert. I assume the breezeway was probably built sometime in the late 60s, early 70s. And again, you're walking up here at night, you're holding the railing, maybe you've had a couple glasses of wine, a couple cans of beer, I'm not sure, and you go to your step and you miss it. That's no good. So another item that could probably be addressed, because concrete doesn't last forever, even concrete. Also, we look back, we can see the overhang, which adds a lot of charm to the breezeway, but it was quite a bit more overgrown last year as well. One of the things that the city did try and do, and I think they've done it fairly well, is improve sight lines, so that at least it's not so obscured by the overgrowth here that you couldn't tell, for example, if somebody was crouching down at the bottom of the steps. So another positive. If we run up here, we come to the critical point. So here we are kind of at the critical point of the steps. Again, remember, you're coming up here at night, there is no light at all. I mean, now you're starting to get the light from up at the parking lot. But what my big concern was, the property here on the east end ends, and then we have a portion of about 15 yards of no man's land, and so once you come up to this point, unfortunately, sometimes you would encounter people sitting behind this fence drinking. Keep in mind, of course, we're very close to a liquor store, so people would come and they'd sit and drink here sometimes. Sometimes they'd sleep. This little area back here was littered with liquor bottles and other containers, and even myself, a roughly 200-pound guy, often unshaven, often kind of in a grumpy mood because I've been studying late at night, coming up here would be very, very scared just coming at this point, because you just don't know who's sitting here, whether they're going to say something to you or whether they're going to, jump out at you. Your worst imaginings come to life at that point in time. So this was the major improvement that the city put in here, was to put in this giant fence to protect this no man's land, to discourage people from going in there and sleeping in there and doing whatever it was that they were doing in there. So I can see one beer bottle there, that in itself is an improvement. Again, the fences was kind of half of it. The neighbors, obviously, building on what the city had done, decided to erect a fence of their own, or expand on the fence of their own, so that, well, I guess it offers them a little bit more privacy, and it kind of just generally supports the city's effort to keep people from going into this no man's land here. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir.
Yeah, it's a very well utilized breezeway. I couldn't even estimate how many people a day use it. As the day wears on and it gets darker, fewer and fewer people do use it. One of the conversations I had with one of the girls who works at the mall here, I just had brought up the conversation that I was working with the city to try and improve kind of safety issues around the breezeway, and her comment to me was, "Wow, if that was lit up at night, it would save me 20 minutes on my walk home every night." And that really brought it home for me, that it wasn't serving the residents of Sahali in the way it possibly could. So we made it to the top of the breezeway. All that's left to look at is the light that obviously belongs to the mall. It's shining down on the light, providing a good level of illumination at night to protect cars and to make people feel safe, but it does very little because of the direction of the lights to actually shine down on the breezeway. Now, one of the comments made by the city engineer I met with last year said that it would be, in his estimate, somewhere $30,000 to truck the utilities down there to get a light at the bottom. And I said, well, could we not possibly work with the owner of the mall to put a light attached to this pole to shine down? And he said, yeah, that might be a possibility, because anytime you think of a project idea for the city, you get in your mind a certain amount of a dollar figure of what it would cost to do it, and inevitably the city comes back to you with a much larger dollar figure, because we're not in the habit of cost estimating city infrastructure projects, so everything costs something. But I believe money spent on this, the money that has already been spent on this breezeway has been money well spent, and if the Upstart Community Association here in Sahali can gain additional funding, then all the better.